Hello, today I'm going to show you how to combine two different photographs together using a layer mask. So we're going to put one on top of the other. We're going to then select areas within the top image and reveal the part of the bottom image underneath, okay? So the first thing you need to do, you've got to make sure, I'm going to use these two photographs here, that both of them are saved exactly the same size and the same resolution. So and obviously both photographs need to be, for it to work very well, both of them need to be the same format. So they're both in portrait format, they're both 15 centimetres high, and they're both 10 centimetres wide, and I've made sure that both of them have got a resolution of 300. So that would be the first thing you'd need to do. Let me see, I'm going to just drag this one into Photoshop. Just to recap, you would go to image size. Well, if you need to crop it first, obviously crop it to 10 by 15, and then finally we'd go to image size, width 10, height 15, resolution 300. Okay, and then you simply file and place, and yours will say place embedded. Okay, it's the same thing. So place embed your top image. So and because you've saved them the same size and the same resolution, they will fit together absolutely fine. I mean, there is tiny bit of difference, but not much, and we are going to crop it later. So the whole point of this is that we're going to put something, instead of having a sky, it's going to have a bit more of an abstract quality about it. Because at the moment, you can see that this is a kind of a 3D building, and this is the environment that it's set in, because the sky enables us to see that this is this is the 3D building, because here's the side of the building and then here's the sky that it's in front of. So by filling a negative space up and making it a completely filled image, it starts to become then just a more abstract piece. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to see both images at the same time. So we need to go to opacity and reduce that down, and then you can actually see then what's naturally behind that piece of sky. And if it's a bit dull or boring, then you can simply change your mind and move something else there instead. Okay. So what we need to do now is go to the background layer, bottom layer. If you might have already changed it into a layer, which is fine. Okay, but I've just left it as background for now. I'm drawing a square over it. So I'm drawing a square over the background layer, that's the original picture. And then I'm going to edit and transform and scale. And then holding down the shift button, I can just make it a bit smaller, and then I can move. So this image here, just to make it slightly more interesting, really. Let's have a look. What else is there? Actually, I think I'll probably put that there. Okay. So ticket, Command and D to get rid of the box, marching ants as we call them, and then we need to go back to the top layer and move the opacity back to 100%. So at the moment you can't see it, okay? And then we need to do the layer mask. So let's just go to back to the drag tool. Now this here, this kind of white rectangle with a little kind of grey circle in it, that is the layer mask. So you click on that. You'll see a little white frame appear. You must click inside the white frame, and then you've got to make sure that it's the black square that's on top here. Okay, and if it's not, then if you're a black square here, simple, just click on this, and if there's no black square here at all, then obviously you click on it, you select black, and okay. And then what you've got to do is you have to now isolate this little section here as the bit that you want to paint through. So we could go for a quick selection tool and hopefully if we go click and drag, that's it, it'll select it for us. Okay. If you go to your brush, now at the moment my opacity just is at 25%. So if I start to brush through, it'll brush it through at a 25% opacity, which is quite faded. So you can always start at a lower opacity and then gradually see. I wonder what a higher opacity would be. You can see that. Or you might just want to bring it through at 100% opacity. Okay. And then Command and D. Now you might think, well, actually I want to do the sky as well, but I didn't like anything else in that photograph. I don't think anything there would work, you know, on this bit of the sky. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to start the whole process again. So at this point now, what I would do is I would flatten the image. Okay, and then I would go to just double check, make sure everything is 10, 15, 300, yeah. And then I would go to File and Save As, and I suppose I could call it Stage 1. Save that as a JPEG. Okay. And now, if I have a look and see what other buildings I have, you can see this. It's okay. Actually, thinking about it, maybe those tiles might look quite nice on that sky area there. Maybe if I reduced it a bit. See, so you can't. So the thing is, if you just put that photograph on top of that photograph, and you didn't reduce this, you could just brush through. But because I kind of reduced it and moved it around, and I got those kind of circles in this bit, it meant that I couldn't put anything in here, which is why I have to go through the process all over again. So actually I'm going to open that, and then File, Place Embed, and find Stage 1, and place. Okay. And then I simply go through the whole process again. So go to here, sorry, go back to here, put your opacity down so you can see everything in there. Go to your background layer, draw a box, edit, transform, I think I might rotate it. What I've got to be wary of is, can you see all of this sky here? This is why it's really good to do the opacity. You can then see exactly what's going to be in that space. Can you see there's nothing there at all at the moment? So let's try. And now I'm starting to think maybe that's not such a great part of the photograph after all. Let's have a look. Right, let's put that there. And then I think we need to, okay, let's stick that. And then what we're going to do is edit and transform and scale. And then holding down the Shift button, I'm going to enlarge it. And then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid putting any of these circles in because they're here. So I don't want to have any of that. And then I might just, so holding down the Shift button again, expand it. Okay, so I'll go with that. Ticket, Command and D, back to the top layer, and then back to 100%. Okay. And then again, the layer mask. Click inside the layer mask. Make sure that black is the top square here. Quick selection tool. Hopefully that will, there you go, pick that up there. Brush, do 100%. Well, actually let's try 82. Okay, just have a look at it first, because you can always make it stronger, can't you? So you can always start off a bit faded and then make it stronger. There we go. And then Command and D. So I would flatten it. Can you see there's a, actually, there's a tiny, tiny, slight discrepancy, but it's very, very small. I think what I might do though is I might just bring it in just one little tiny bit here. And that's it. Image size. So I've cropped it a tiny bit. I need to just change this back to 15. And okay. And file and save as. And I would call that abstract buildings and save. Okay, so that is, I mean, obviously you can, if you wanted to combine different buildings together, you could say, well, I can just simply, you know, cut out sections of it and then move it across. But I like this particular way of doing it, and it's good that you can see both images together, you know, through opacity, so you can place and you can rotate and you can see exactly what you're going to put in kind of which sort of section. And by doing this particular way, and you can kind of turn tiles around, it's still architecture, and this is still London architecture, but yet you have manipulated it so it becomes more of an abstract image than it does, you know, a standard architecture photograph. Okay, and I said that's how you use the layer mask to combine two or more different images together into one. And that's the end of the tutorial.